is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I'm Freddie Wilson. This is our 25th episode, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has ever tuned in to an episode of Step 1. It really means a lot to me that you take the time out of your day to listen to my hot takes on sports every week. When I started the show, I really didn't think I was going to get past episode 1, let alone do 25 episodes. So again, thank you to everyone who's listened to the show. Thank you to everyone who's ever been a part of the show. I really couldn't have done it without you. Again, it really means a lot that I get to do this every week, and I've done 25 episodes. As a reminder, if you want to see more Step 1 content, you can find every episode of Step 1 on YouTube and Spotify. You can also follow me on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcast. Got a great show for you today. It only felt right that for our 25th episode, we go back to the beginning and have our first ever guest on the show. Jermey Spiera is joining the show. The Celtics are NBA champions after demolishing the Dallas Mavericks, and the Florida Panthers can't seem to put away the Edmonton Oilers as the Stanley Cup Finals is going back to Alberta for Game 6. All right, let's ride. All right, we'll start with the Celtics. The Celtics were clearly the best team from day one of the NBA. It was never in doubt who was going to win the NBA Finals. It was just clear and cut the Celtics were the best team. They're a better team, and we do a proper NBA Finals recap with Jermey Spiera, but I just want to say I knew it from day one of the Celtics were going to be hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy from day one because I was at the game 1 at Madison Square Garden, and I saw the Celtics win. I'm like, oh, we're going to be good. And I was right, and now we are NBA champions. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make the parade because on Friday, I will be at my sister's wedding. So it looks like the parade's going to be fun, but I won't be there. Really wish I could be there, share some content and just be with a bunch of Celtics fans celebrating our 18th trophy. But fortunately, life does get in the way. All right, moving to the Stanley Cup. The Edmonton Oilers are just not giving up. And after being down 3 games, we are going back to Alberta for a Game 6. I still think the Panthers will win the Stanley Cup. They played a lot better Game 5 than they did after that disastrous Game 4. They just got a little unlucky at the end, missed a couple shots. But again, I think they're the better team. But I am rooting for the Oilers because I would really like to see them come back from 3 games. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be really cool. It doesn't happen that often. So when we're in this situation, it's exciting. And once the Stanley Cup is over, we will be officially in summer mode. And I'm just hoping that this summer provides us with fun things to talk about. So far, we're not off to a good start. The NBA draft is not going to be super exciting, but maybe NBA free agency will provide some excitement. We'll see. We'll find out. And when we get exciting news, we will talk about it on Step 1. And now let's get to my interview with Jermey Spiera. All right, today we welcome on a very special guest, a reoccurring guest, and I didn't realize this when I planned it, but I feel like it's fitting. It is our 25th episode, and you were our first guest ever, so it only feels right to have you back on. Jermey Spiera, how are we doing? Welcome back to Step 1.
We're good. I actually knew it was the 25th episode. That's why I've been pushing it off until now to come.
Is that really?
Yeah, exactly. I've been counting, Freddie. It's actually in the notches under my bed, and it's the last thing I do at night.
So that 2-month hiatus must have really killed you then.
It was torture.
I mean, I did say the show was going on hiatus. I just didn't say for how long.
Yeah, but it's like when they say, "Oh yeah, we'll eventually come out with another episode of your favorite TV show." They're eventually
for 2 years. For
2 years.
Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, all the good ones. They make you wait.
Hey, The Boys is back as well. No House of Dragon spoilers. I will kill you if you give.
I don't watch the show. All I know is that there's dragons
and boobs. There's also boobs,
but there's dragons.
Yeah, different focuses here, but
yeah, I know. I'm more into the dragons. It's the point of the show. There are dragons, but let's talk about the real House of Dragon NBA Finals. It was great. If you're a Celtics fan. If you are a sports fan, it wasn't a great finals. I will admit that.
So I'm going to start off with my day today. I wore this to work, not realizing that it was green and the Celtics just won. Um,
So
someone
that
asked
went
me,
well.
yeah, someone asked me if I wore it on purpose when I got to the office, and I almost jumped out the window. So that's where we're at today.
What, you didn't want the Celtics to win? You would rather have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and the Mavericks win?
It was really a lose-lose situation in these playoffs. Luca, I don't have anything against him personally, but he's the least fun player in the NBA to watch. You just kind of watch him like not really move for 15 seconds, and then just put up a shot that looks terrible and goes in.
And then ask for a foul.
Yeah, that whole thing has to stop. And it's actually effective, which is the worst part. Is the more you complain, often the more calls you get, and that's why people do it.
Yeah, I think, it was time for the Celtics. This was the year. And also, I said on last week's episode, and I'll say it again. You know when I knew the series was over?
Game one.
Well, halfway for game one, they show like Jason Kidd's like halftime speech, and he's like, "Boys, just remember to have fun out there." That's not what you say if you're in the NBA finals, especially game one at half. Like, it's game one. You say, let's have fun out there. Like, when I coached middle school and I wanted to tell these kids who were down by 30, hey, I know we suck, but like, let's have fun out there.
But that shows you the mental state of NBA players these days. They're all such prima donnas.
I
Like
know it's just
you
like,
have to coddle them. You can yell. You should be able to yell at them. You should be yelling at them.
I think obviously there was probably some yelling that they couldn't show. Because again, they only show like the little soundbite. I imagine on top of that, there was some Jason Kidd yelling. And then at the end of his, remember, guys, let's have fun.
Is that you with like your middle school girls teams? You
So we had a rule where
say,
if
fun, guys.
I ever got caught swearing, I would drop 20, no questions asked. There was I think it was the 7 girls team. Some of those halftime speeches got a little fiery.
Did any of them ever curse and have to give you 20?
Not the girls, the boys though.
Did the girls just never curse, or did
No,
you just
I
have different?
coach didn't hear it. As long as I don't hear it, can't kill me. But I remember like there was like a halftime speech where like one of them was like, "Coach, you're being our team is being really aggressive," and I'm just like, "Well, then be fucking aggressive back." Hey, we almost won that game, so that was an A+ halftime speech. I think yes, I'm very happy the Celtics won. Like I didn't want to say I called it or like knew it was coming, but like this was a long time coming, and it's about time they won.
I agree. I also think the Celtics team had an interesting situation where they made, in Tatum's second year, they went so far. Was it the conference? Was it the conference finals that they went to?
That was his first year,
First year, yeah.
which should have won, by the way. One man's opinion.
Sure, but either way, they changed the expectations for this organization. So for the past 4 years or so, they weren't really getting over that hump, and people were starting. The media does what they do. They're starting to turn on everyone. Um, Tatum's not all that,
They're like
etc.
arguing should Tatum and Brown even play together, which like the fact that that was even a narrative is ridiculous.
Exactly, and that part of the reason that happened is because they hit success so early. A lot of these teams, and you look at any of the greatest teams ever, even the Bulls, Jordan and Pippen, they weren't able to. First off, they are nowhere near Jordan and Pippen, and I'm not saying anything like that.
Well, we're only 5 away. Easy.
But I'm just saying, like dynasties take time, and they, great teams take time, and they happen to get close early, so people expected them to be there every year. But they have a really well built roster. Derek White, dog. Drew Holiday, dog. Kristaps hates me to say it, kills me to say it because I wish he were better on the Knicks, but kind of a dog. Al
Peyton
Horford,
Pritchard, dog.
yeah, I'm
I have
purposely.
to rep the Oregon guys.
Isn't the Peyton Pritchard one-on-one one of the most statistically effective plays in the NBA?
It should be if it isn't.
I think I remember seeing some statistic. Obviously, he doesn't do it too much, where he has one of the most effective ISOs in the NBA.
Yeah, the few ISOs he gets, yeah, maximum efficiency. Brian Scalabrine, 1 point a game, 1 minute a game, maximum efficiency. Now, I remember when Pritchard like was a rookie, he like dropped 25 one night, and like 4 different people, including you, by the way, texted me like out of the blue, like, "Yo, you see Peyton Pritchard drop like 25 last night?" They were all like excited. They were like, "He was an Oregon guy. Freddie went to Oregon."
I don't remember that text,
It
but
was like
I
5 years ago, but
found that believable because I would say once every 2 months I would wake up to a random text from you commenting on a Duke game, especially whenever Duke lost.
we never
Um,
actually had the have the conversation about court storm, which I have texted you because I remember you had some opinions about court storming. You're not well, you're not anti court storming, but you seem to think playing Duke is a random game in February when Wake Forest stormed. I disagree. That's their Super Bowl right there.
well, that's the whole point. So now you're adding risk for all these good teams. Court storming can happen. You just need to get the players off the court first. And second, court storming, yeah, you shouldn't be court storming when you beat a good team any random ass game. Sorry, any random butt game. I love you, Freddie's mom.
He doesn't watch every week.
um, oh, okay. Ass tits. Ass tits.
I make the argument that like when an ACC team plays Duke, that's their Super Bowl. Like I don't think Wake Forest cares how well their season went. They just remember that time they beat Duke. That's a win right there. That's like something you can build upon. Hey, we beat Duke that one time.
But you're an ACC team. If you're in the top conferences, then that shouldn't be happening. That would be like if Spurs fans storm the court when they beat if they beat the Nuggets in a regular season game. That would just make no sense.
Yeah, but it's different in the NBA. How there are 82 games. There's no court storming in the NBA to begin with. Safety. Like it's a fun thing to do, but yes, I do agree it should be done safely.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know what the solution is. I think this year we saw a lot of incidents where people like were getting not no one got like severely injured. We just had some very close calls.
I'm just throwing this out here in the Eastern Conference and in the finals. Jason Tatum averaged more points, rebounds, and assists than Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown got MVP for both. You tell me if if you're saying that statistics don't matter, then you tell me whether teams were more focused on Jason Tatum on a nightly basis or Jaylen Brown. It's
But
one of
who
those
hit
things
the big shot in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals? Jaylen Brown.
in a series that they swept against a team of.
But he got a double bang from Mike Breen.
Yeah, that's true. Double
We
bang is rare.
there are only 8 of them, and Jaylen Brown has one of them. By the way, we loosely talked about this our last episode with Simon. We might do this thing over the summer where we need to figure out another award to replace Mike Breen's bang when Mike Breen inevitably retires eventually.
How about
Because I might try out some samples. That might be a summer project for the show. Now that once hockey ends, like, what am I going to talk about? Baseball?
no? I will
The
not be
NBA
doing
draft? I wish it was a more interesting draft. We can talk about the Lakers head coaching search, which, by the way, we unfortunately recorded it with Simon long before the idea of Dan Hurley even being considered for the job. We missed it by like a day, so I never got a Lakers fan perspective. I think Dan Hurley made the right decision because I think the Lakers' job is the worst coach in the NBA. I think number 2 is coaching LeBron. That's the worst coach job in the NBA.
I agree, but he also would have made more than $10 million a year. I will happily get shat on by LeBron daily to
It's
make
not even getting
$10
shot
million.
LeBron. It's just like it's a terrible situation unless you win a championship. The second you don't win a championship, like Lakers fans want nothing to do with you.
I agree, and I think that's the issue with being an NBA coach is when things go well, people often focus on the players. When things go badly, people always focus on the coach. It's really, and you also, you could get lucky and end up with either grow a team or end up with a team that's, that will listen. But you have so many guys in this league who, James Harden's famous "I'm the system" quote. There's so many guys, and he's not even necessarily wrong in his specific case, but there's just so many guys who think that because they're making $20 million a year, they shouldn't have to do what anyone else says. And that's really a power struggle that you don't have in college, because as the coach, you're really the guy more
Mm.
so. But again, he would have made over $10 million a year. And the other downside, which is the only other part, is this is the highest. Like, I can't imagine his stock as a coach is ever going to be higher than it is right now. He's won back to back in dominant fashion. He's really at the top of the world of basketball right now. So if he were ever going to leave to get his bag, it would be now.
And again, it's an opportunity that he would consider. But again, it can't be being at UConn. Like it just no matter how much money they pay you. Like
What do you mean?
it's just a good situation to be in UConn right now. To go to a Lakers team that like should be good, but they're not. And to deal with like the constant stream of LA media, LeBron being LeBron's coach. Like again, I want to see JJ Redick take the job. I really do, but
Do you really want to see him fail that badly?
I don't. But like, who else is gonna take it at this point? Like, they've been looking around for like 2 months. They've been waiting for JJ Redick.
They're going to make Rich Paul a head coach. He's going to temporarily separate himself from his agency, and he's going to do whatever LeBron says.
I
I
mean,
think they're
maybe
just going to grab a dude off the street and say, "You're standing here." LeBron tells everyone what to do.
again. That's why I said last week LeBron should be a player coach.
He shouldn't. I mean, maybe player coach, but
But no,
he's played
he's
as a player GM, and that's never worked.
a player coach. Jackie Moon in the flesh. Come on, let's make it happen. Bill Russell did it. LeBron should do it too. Come on, like
Yeah,
we got to bring back player coach.
I don't know. LeBron.
I don't actually think it's going to happen in today's NBA, but like it would be funny to see LeBron try.
Yeah, I don't know if LeBron's going to go into coaching. He's too Hollywood these days. He's
I mean,
gonna
what would he do? What do you think he's going to do when he retires?
he's gonna start a lot of non-for-profits. He's gonna like go be in movies. He's gonna I don't know.
I mean, he is a solid actor.
You know that like nobody has ever. I think in the he created a school
Yeah.
and not a single kid in his school was up to fifth grade reading level or whatever. They didn't. None of them, like not a single one of them, were up to standards on education.
All right. Well, it's a pretty new school. Give him a chance. But yes, you know,
I mean, come on! Imagine spending that much money on building one of the worst schools in America.
I mean, he built the school. He doesn't teach. If LeBron becomes the principal, that school will be in line the second he gets in there. He could just become the principal of the I Promise school.
I'm telling you, if he becomes a principal of the I Promise school, everyone will do whatever it takes to get sent to the principal's office. It will be chaos in that school.
Yeah, it would be, but it'd be funny. Principal James in the building.
Okay, because it's casual around the
Hey,
office.
hey, LeBron. No, it's Principal James. Like he will address me as such.
Also, I have a feeling that every year for the next like 20 years, LeBron is going to slowly get slightly bigger pairs of glasses and like bigger and thicker rims. And then like at some point, they're going to be this large and everyone's going to wonder where that came from.
Yeah, and like look at the tape. Like he's been doing this all this time. Now we're just noticeably bigger. I, for the record, as much as I hate LeBron beating my teams, I will miss it the day he leaves the NBA. Like I genuinely have enjoyed watching LeBron the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a once in a generation player, potentially the GOAT. We don't need to get into this argument because it is something that leads nowhere. I don't think he's the GOAT, but I think he's had the greatest career of all time.
So your GOAT is obviously Scottie Pippen.
My GOAT is Matthew Dellavedova, okay? He carried those Cavs teams. If not him, then Marco Bellinelli.
Marco Bellinelli. Did Marco Bellinelli play on those Cavs teams?
No, I love him from his Spurs days, okay?
All right. Those were some fun times.
No, I don't know. He's had the greatest career of all time, and he's had the best longevity of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And those are a lot of things that are really valued, but it's also, I'm very happy that we have a new generation. That's kind of what this playoffs was. You had all these teams. You had the new generation taking over. You had Anthony Edwards, and the Timberwolves now being a perennial team in the West.
You had Tyrese Halliburton.
You had the Thunder. You had Tyrese Halliburton, who's the most overrated player in the NBA, who looks like he's made of sticks. But
just spent on corn from Iowa. That's how they make him down there. Corn fed.
He looks like he has Crohn's and has Simon's at like situation where he can't have wheat, dairy, or corn, so he just turns into a stick until he crumples.
That's kind of what happened to
Simon. If you're watching, I do appreciate you, but I stand by what I said.
We'll see if he watches. I would love to see a text from Simon like, "Yeah, Spiera hurt my feelings."
Simon, if you don't text us, we'll know that you didn't see this episode, and we will judge you for it.
I mean, I get 2 views a week at best, and the Spotify numbers. By the way, if you haven't, give the podcast 5 stars. Shamelessly plugging. I have nothing to do with those 5-star ratings. It's not like I told people like how to give me 5 stars and like how to fast forward an episode so it says they actually listen to an episode. Had nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with it. All right.
It's not like 6 individual users give my podcast 5 stars. So we're 5-star.
You with different accounts.
Again, I won't go into it, but I had nothing to do with it. We're a 5-star podcast.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah. But again, 2 views a week. The part of my take video application, I will say it again, got more views than that. I took that personally. I'm hoping the right people watched it. If they want to hire me, that'd be cool. I don't know if you saw it.
Hire this man.
If anyone wants to hire me, I am available for services. Well, while we're talking about LeBron James, let's talk about the real GOAT of sports, Joey Chestnut, banned from Ben Nathan's hot dog eating competition, which is a travesty, by the way. First of all, have you ever been to Nathan's? I know you grew up in New York, but I know you were at Camp most summers. Did you ever go to the event?
I've never been to the July 4th event, but I've been to the Nathan's in Coney Island.
First of all, very overrated hot dog, just one man's opinion.
Yeah, it's a staple because you can get it anywhere. It's not the best hot dog you'll get.
Again, I don't think he should be banned. I think it's not the same without Joey Chestnut at your marquee event.
I think Nathan's knowingly took a hit here. This wasn't for Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut is probably bigger than Nathan's, than the July 4th hot dog eating contest, at least in that sense. Obviously, he's not bigger than the company. But this is really a message to all the other dudes who are out there who are random names, which is you can't sign with other brands. Otherwise, you're not going to be allowed on the only stage where competitive eating actually gets watched.
But it's not even like he's like going to be like endorsing the brand like at the event. He's just signed with them for other events.
I agree with you, but I think Nathan's is making a conscious decision to not have all these other people, especially with vegan stuff. Like, I love Joey Chestnut. He's an American hero. He was downing 2 dogs while assaulting a protester at the same time. That's the most American thing I've ever seen. But, they just don't want all these other guys to do it.
I don't think the other guys have the prowess to do that.
I agree. But maybe it was also Joey Chestnut was kind of ruining the July 4th hot dog eating contest because he was so much better than everyone.
I mean, it's not, I wouldn't call it a contest. I would call it's Joey Chestnut versus himself. Like, it's like, can he beat his record? You're not watching it because you think, oh, someone maybe will beat him this year. We're long past that.
Are you going to watch the Netflix Kobayashi?
I might actually. I'm pretty excited, actually. I don't think Kobayashi will win. I think he's past his prime.
Of course not. And he's also, Kobayashi is like 130 pounds. That dude is straight up small.
Well, they are actually pretty skinny dudes, like actual, like the good ones. Like Joey Chestnut's not like that big of a guy. Because again, and I will say it again, it's a sport. Competitive eating is a sport. They train like athletes. They are athletes. If you think chess is a sport, competitive eating is a sport.
Oh, if chess is a sport, competitive eating is a sport. But those are both sports. I will say golf is not a sport. That is a drinking pastime for people who wish they had better things to do.
Did you watch the U.S. Open on Sunday by chance?
I feel like I'll let you guess based on my statement just
I
now.
think you absolutely watched it because it was like one of the best U.S. Opens ever.
No, I did
I'm
not.
watch the last hour of the big events type of guy, and I just happened to catch it when like Rory missed his putt, Bryson DeChambeau made a great shot out of the trees, won it. You know what? Good for Bryson. I
Um,
I wish Tiger had won, but you know he's old apparently.
yeah. Also, Tiger's still gotten more balls and holes than anyone I know, so he'll be
Yes,
okay.
but yeah. Speaking
Pun
about the
intended.
one more thing, speaking about the competitive eating event, it did lead to arguably the greatest news headline or greatest quote I've ever read in any sort of publication.
Lay it
This
on
is
me.
a quote from Impossible Foods. This is what they told ESPN. They said that they support Chestnut in any contest he chooses, and that meat eaters shouldn't be exclusive to just one wiener. That is an A+ quote right there.
Meat eaters should be exclusive to
No,
just one
shouldn't
winner.
have to be exclusive to just one wiener. I don't think ESPN thought the morning that happened that they were going to get a quote from Impossible Foods saying meat eaters don't need to be only meat eaters shouldn't be exclusive to just one wiener.
Are you exclusive to one wiener, Freddie?
Am I exclusive? I don't dabble with the Impossible dogs. I do enjoy a veggie dog here and there. There are I'm not going to plug any brands because I honestly don't know what brand I go to, but there are a couple that aren't bad. It's not. I still prefer the beef. All right. Any NBA draft takes? I honestly I think I've asked you, Eli, Simon, and like, what are we gonna say about this draft? It's the most boring draft there will ever be.
I think this is a very boring draft now. Um, I think that this is one of those drafts where really good GMs can find really good quality. Um, Not because there's a lot of good players in this draft, but it's so unclear who's going to be valuable, if anyone, that second round picks, who knows, there might be value in there. Um, it's these down drafts where you can sometimes um, not you're not going to find these superstars. You can find these gems in the rough where you get guys who can play, their role and play solidly, and that's what the majority of players in the NBA are. And it's not the sexy part of the draft, but there's going to be stuff that's happening. I don't know where it's going to come from though. That's really the truth.
Like, who are the Hawks gonna take? Like, I just don't know. Like, it's a weird draft to be a number one pick. It's like the Hawks don't really need the number one pick, but they also have no one who wants the number one pick that badly.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like they're going to take a. I have no idea what they're going to do. I've not been following this enough, but I feel like this is the type of year where if they trade down, they're not really going to get much value because no one knows who the number one is.
I mean, also it's the Hawks. Whatever they do, it's probably gonna be the wrong decision.
Yeah.
It just seems like how Atlanta functions. Whatever it is, I don't know. Maybe it'll mess up a draft like the Falcons. Take a
Uh,
quarterback when they don't need one.
yeah,
That
that
brought me
was like
such great joy. It reminded me, it's like the Jordan Love thing, but like better.
yeah, it was a Jordan Love thing, except the Packers are going to suck next year.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're winning the NFC North.
When was the last year you didn't think the Packers were going to win the NFC North?
Well, you know, the year they got eliminated. After Aaron Rodgers, you know, got injured.
What do you
So
mean?
that one. I mean, he just got injured. I don't know why I did it in air quotes. He actually got injured.
Yeah, he's not lying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'd use that. It was a rough season. Unfortunately, I was overseas, so I didn't watch most of it. But I would say last year was the first year where I like wasn't like I really didn't know what I was getting into. Obviously, I was confident. Obviously, I was like probably going on the show saying we're winning it all. But like I really did not know what I was getting into last year. And obviously the season started off pretty poorly after the first few weeks, but things changed.
Who are the rookies that you're excited to watch?
In the NFL, uh I still don't think Caleb Williams is the real deal until he beats the Packers. Let me rephrase that. He has to beat the Packers more than once.
Okay.
Then I will take Caleb Williams seriously.
And he's going to play the Packers twice a year, so
Yep.
it'll take 1 year.
I mean, probably not, but
Kidding. He's
I think, I really do think Bo Nix is going to thrive in the Broncos offense. I really do. I'm biased, but I really do.
It's possible.
Yeah.
How about them Jets? You think they got any chance this year?
Who'd they get in the draft?
No, I'm talking about just the team in general. I'm not talking about.
If Rodgers stays healthy, then maybe. But Rodgers wasn't at their mini camp.
That dude could do whatever he wants as long as
he really can. I think as long as he stays healthy, it's a winnable division. That's not true. The Bills exist and the Dolphins are pretty good, but like, I just think about it as
divisions in football. Actually,
I wasn't thinking. I just think the Patriots suck. Then I remember, oh wait, there's other teams that have a division.
Yeah, the Patriots are terrible, but all the other teams in that division are very good.
Yeah, so I think we'll see. He has to stay healthy, and they need a little luck, but the defense is good. So I think the Jets will be good. I don't think the Giants are going to be that great.
I saw a statistic recently where it was like comparing Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence in their contracts. Trevor Lawrence is making $40 million a year or something. Daniel Jones is making 25, which is still probably too much. But Daniel Jones has pretty much the same completion percentage, touchdowns, wins, etc. I don't know. He's disrespected. He's not great, but he was definitely the best available at the time. I know this was a year ago, so it's hard to say, but he was the best available that was at the time. And he's never really been the problem. There's a ton of problems. There's a lot of work to be done, but there's pieces here and there, and they kind of need a 10-year plan.
First of all, you have a quarterback. His name is Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Dix. I know people call him Tommy.
I love Tommy DeVito. I was disappointed when we went to the Giants-Packers game to watch him beat the Packers, but I love Tommy DeVito. I think I'm sure the Giants are like trying to start him again this year because Daniel Jones has to be the guy. Like, you know what? They said Drew Bledsoe was going to get his job back, and then he didn't. Look what happened to that. Worked out pretty well for Tom Brady.
Tommy DeVito completed pretty much 0 passes ever. So he's like not. I don't know. He's a lot of fun, and I'm not trying to disparage.
He's a character.
But also, I just want to reminisce for your 2 viewers who might not have been to the Packers game with us. We showed up to a game in December, right?
Freezing.
Yes, we showed up 2 hours before we went into the stadium.
We were drinking beer.
We were drinking beer in our winter coats, shivering our asses off.
And eating sandwiches. Let's not forget those.
The sandwiches were good. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Feldstein. But the experience was rough. That was rough.
I only went because it was the Packers.
Yeah, and then we tried to leave. You wouldn't leave.
This was a close game.
I know, but then didn't we make some agreement or something?
We made some agreement, and then you jumped on me after the Giants won.
Yeah, we made an agreement where like the Packers, if the Giants scored or something, we would leave. The Giants scored, and then you refused to leave. So then I jumped you, and the Giants won.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's only fair.
It's only fair. You know what? It was a fun game with the boys. I'm disappointed the Packers didn't win, but hey, we beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, so that is an A+ season in my book.
Everyone beats the Cowboys in the playoffs.
You know what? But it's more fun when your team does it.
Grader beats the Cowboys in the playoffs.
It was such a satisfying feeling. Yeah, no, like I really do think the Packers have a very good chance. I think we're building something. I think it's going places. I say that every year, but Jordan Love is the man. Once Fanatics does their annual sale, get in a jersey. Then we ball out, and we're going to beat the Bears twice. Then we're going to beat the Vikings. We're going to beat the Lions. We're going to win the North.
I'll see you when that happens.
All right. This has been awesome. Always good to have you on. All right. Have a good night, Spiera. That's our show for this week. We will be back next week. again, thank you to everyone who has ever watched or been a part of Step One. I know I'm the one talking every week, but I really couldn't have done it without the help of so many people, and they know who they are. Again, thank you so much for everything you have done to make this crazy idea had 25 episodes is a reality now because of you. Again, thank you. Now that summer is starting, the sports world will be slowing down, but I've got a lot of cool ideas for the summer, and I'm excited to do them on the show in the coming weeks. All right, Big Fred, over and out.